Pliny, as man of property. Though Pliny retired to his estates primarily to seek the solitude conducive to his literary activities, part of his leisure was devoted to supervision of his properties at Laurentum, Tivernum, and Comum, not least because he was in part financially dependent on the returns for the produce. He frequently complains of the meager returns which they bring him as a twofold tree. Because of the poor state of my modest farms, the returns are rather small or uncertain. Of his three properties, at that at Laurentum was at least pretentious. See plan of the house P 308. The house itself, described in detail in 217, was ample, large enough for my needs, but not expensive to maintain. But the property was not extensive. I have nothing there but the house and garden, and the beach immediately beyond. There I cultivate not my non-existent land, but myself with my studies. 462. At Comum, Pliny had inherited his mother's property. 215. He speaks of doing the rounds of his mother's holdings, lending an ear to the many complaints of the country folk, skimming through the accounts unwillingly. 514a. By 100, he has acquired further estates by a legacy, a part of which he generously sold to a close friend of his mother for substantially less than its market value. Pliny's most extensive property is that near Tivernum in Umbria. He devotes a lengthy letter, 5:6, to a description of the capacious mansion, for with its woodland, extensive vineyards, and open fields earlier at 319. He debates whether the purchase of an neighboring estate is identically described, so that it seems probable that he had incorporated with his own. He states that he prefers this estate to any in Tusculum or Tibur or Praeneste. 5645. 5645. In other words, to the properties of the wealthy in the vicinity of Rome, as when visiting Comum, is asset with the complaints of tenants. 733, 636, 6, together with the problem of neglected accounts. 950. In two letters, he complains of the difficulty of leasing his farms, and exceeding troublesome tax, for suitable tenants are a rare commodity. 733. In 107, he reports that, in spite of large-scale lowering of rents, the arrears of debts have increased. Several tenants have lost all interest in reducing their debts. One remedy which he investigates is to lease the farms not for money but for part of the produce. 937 to 3. A letter of particular interest, 82, describes how eager buyers had purchased his fine crop in advance in anticipation of a bumper harvest, but when it proved disappointing, Pliny awarded them a generous rebate. Other people, he remarks at the head of his letter, visit their estates to return richer, but I myself go to return poorer.